So this Friday, coming to you live from the Scope Arena in Norfolk, Virginia, Keyshawn Davis will be going head-to-head versus Gustavo Lemos. This fight is included with your ESPN Plus subscription, top rank, no extra charge. And let me tell you, boys, we are in for a hell of a matchup. This is going to be one hell of a scrap. Although Keyshawn Davis is the attraction here, he is, you could say, the main character. This is a homecoming fight for Keyshawn Davis. His opponent, Gustavo Lemos, is not an easy touch. You know what I'm saying? You know how a lot of promoters will put on an easy matchup for their up-and-coming prospect to look good in front of the home crowd, right? This right here is a 50-50 fight, in my opinion, because Gustavo Lemos is no punk. This dude is a hardcore slugger. He's a pressure fighter. He puts on the pressure. He makes for a very fan-friendly style. Technically, he's coming off of a unanimous decision loss to Richardson Hitchens, but I know a robbery when I see one. The wrong man got his hand raised that night. Gustavo Lemos won that fight. And it's unfortunate because Gustavo Lemos was undefeated before that night against Richardson Hitchens. You know, these guys like Gustavo Lemos put in work their whole lives to get to this position, only to get fucked over by some crooked judges and promoters. But what do you expect from a sport that has been controlled by the mob since the beginning of time? You know, what are you gonna do? Not watch? Yeah, right. So it is what it is, and it was what it was. But Keyshawn Davis is a badass, man. This kid is what boxing needs right now, especially here in the United States. With a lot of these older guys, you know, the generation above Keyshawn Davis, the prima donnas who do more fighting on Twitter instead of in the ring. Keyshawn Davis is the exact opposite of that. This kid is active. He's fought 3 times this year already. You know this, or this upcoming fight versus Gustavo Lemos on Friday will be his 3rd fight. You know what I'm saying? So this kid is active. He wants that smoke. He's fighting. For me, Keyshawn Davis reminds me of the old school guys. The guys that didn't duck no smoke. He's taking on all credible opponents. His last 3 opponents were all tough fights. So in the beginning of the year, his first fight of this year, he stops former world champion Jose Pedraza in the 6th round. And then in July, he beats Miguel Madueño in a unanimous decision. All credible opponents, man, I'm telling you. I really like watching Keyshawn Davis because of his style. He likes staying in the pocket and exchanging. He's a brawler. He's a dog. And he's not afraid to get hit. He makes for entertaining television. This guy was made to be on television. One thing that I think that Keyshawn Davis needs to work on, though, is he's a bit flat-footed. If he was to stick and move more, bob and weave in there more, then that would make Keyshawn Davis even more of a factor in that ring, especially when you're going up against a beast like this guy, Gustavo Lemos. You may never know when you might need to fight on that back foot. The winner of this fight will become Dennis Berenchik's mandatory for his WBO title. So I know that this fight makes it a must-win for both guys. One thing that I'm a bit concerned about is this homecoming curse. I don't know what it is, but when guys fight at their home turf for the first time, they be getting washed, like Santillán did versus Brian Norman Jr., or Subriel Matias in his homecoming fight in Puerto Rico versus Liam Paro. Maybe they feel that extra pressure to perform in front of their home crowd, or maybe they be too lax in there, too chilled out since they're fighting in their backyard. Whatever it might be, I'm going with the businessman to win this one. I got faith in Keyshawn Davis. I am confident that he will remain poised and focused, keep his eye on the prize, especially because he hasn't been taking any light touches. His last opponent was tough, so I think that was good practice. I think that helped Keyshawn prepare for this fight versus Lemos, because Medueños fought a very similar style to Gustavo Lemos. He's a tough, rugged, come forward pressure fighter. And again, I can't stress it enough. I salute Keyshawn Davis for taking on a tough opponent like Lemos. I was watching an interview with Keyshawn Davis where he was telling the interviewer that he chose Gustavo Lemos because he was the best fighter of his options. Top Rank was trying to set Keyshawn Davis up with a light touch, since this was his homecoming fight in Norfolk, and he said, nah, give me Gustavo Lemos. That's the type of fighter I like watching and I like supporting. The type of fighter that gives the fans the most bang for their buck. And for the most part, noticed that the young fighters coming up with Keyshawn Davis in his class are the same way. His peers like Abdullah Mason, Kid Austin, and Raymond Mortaya. This new generation are getting away from their older generation like Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis, Devin Haney. You know, the Floyd Mayweather wannabes. You know, they fight very economically and they fight on the back foot. They fight safe. They pick their opponents very cautiously, avoid certain guys that they deem too much of a risk. So I'm glad to see the younger guys getting away from that style and that way of thinking. These younger guys seem to want all the smoke, and I salute them for that. But back to my prediction. I'm going with Keyshawn Davis with the unanimous decision. I don't think that Keyshawn stops Gustavo Lemos because of, well, after watching Gustavo Lemos versus Richardson Hitchens, I don't see a guy that tough getting knocked out. So, yeah, I'm going with Keyshawn Davis with the unanimous decision. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for this one. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. And you already know. Once again, this has been your boy O-Dog Boxing, and I'm out. This bit.